Hi everyone, welcome to session 6 of ServiceNow CIS IRM preparation. So in previous videos we have covered until entity classes. Now we'll cover the next topics. Now we're talking about entity class setup and the functionality around that. Now in order to enable ARA, enable system property, migrate to advanced risk assessments, yes, and it is available in this location like advanced risk assessment, administration properties. So let's look at that. Properties. So here we can look at the properties. Navigation is advanced risk assessment administration. So favorite. Yeah, here. So if we go here, we have a way to enable, yeah, migrate to advanced risk assessments. The property name is SN underscore risk underscore advanced. Hide risk legacy lifecycle. It's a property name. And then class rules, risk administration class rules. That's where we define class rules. Uh, okay, so let's do that. Class rules. So it's under risk administration entity class rules. So here we are defining which table maps to which class. So for example, CMN department maps to department. That's a class rule which is defined, right? And once we define a class rule, so let's try defining a new one. Let's say business application. Call it as business application, submit. Now once we do that, then we have to run a scheduled job called so it's a good idea to create a favorite for this because you'll be using it a lot. It's called profile generation. Yeah, there's a space. So this is a job and this runs every 1 hour. Now let's make a small change to this. I'll add a log so we know that this has started and ended. Just add GStart.info, started GRC profiles, generation, and here end, start and end. Starting and put semicolon, save it. That way we can check in the log what is happening. So save it. And because this record is in GRC profile, so we need to pick up the right log for that. So let's look at the logs. Start from here. I'll change my application scope first to GRC profiles. And look at the logs. So let's run the job, the GRC profile creation. So if you execute that, I've added a log to see the execution. Right? Let me just open that. Again, the idea is because it's a scheduled job, it is hard to track like what is it is doing in the background. So this is only to for us to know that it has started and stopped. Now, while this doesn't exactly reflect the actual execution, because if you look at the job itself, it uh, initiates something in the background through the script include, but and it runs at its own pace. So that's why if you see here, the start and the stop time are exactly same, but in the background it is doing the work. Right? That is that. So now what I've done is I have made a new business application called Workday Test Demo, and I'm looking at the entities of the business application type, and I can see that it got generated like 1 minute back. And if you open that, then we want to verify if the class is mapped correctly or not, because we have created a class rule. So now the class is mapped correctly. It says business application, so that proves that. Let's move on. And then we talk about yeah, so we have verified all of this. Now let's talk about how to bulk update identity class. So there is an option called policy compliance and the navigation policy compliance administration bulk update identity class. So let's look at that. So if we go here, let's close some stuff. Look for this module, make a favorite. So if you open that, so this is the uh, page that opens up. And then you have all these options. All entities with an empty class or select a specific table. That's how this is used. Now the idea behind this is if you see this note here, it says once you create a entity class, it applies only to newly created entities, which is why there is an option to update the records which are existing in the system. So that is that. Right? So, yeah, and if you go here, if you select this one and then you have an option to select. So you can just say select table and okay, let's put a filter condition. Let's say uh, so we need to come up with the right filter condition here, right? And then accordingly uh, set it. That's the idea behind this. So let's go to entity. Let's look at those empty entities first, right? Just and start from there. So if you go to all entities and look for the ones which have empty as the class, and these are all my record with empty class. So and I believe these are the fields coming from entity, right? So let's see what options we have to group them in such a way that we can update the entity class on them. So there's a field called table. Let's see if that can be leveraged. So table, yeah, so table is there. So we'll say table is cmdb underscore ci underscore business underscore app. So if this is my table, then just refresh it, 44 records. Then I want to set the entity class as business application. So that's my intent. So I submit it. And yeah, I'll try to run this again, refresh it. Ideally, it should go away. That's the thought process. So it is working in the background. So let's give it a minute. But I'm expecting that this will update the class here on this record. So if you see here, the class got updated to business application. So if you go back to the same page, uh, so you can see here that if you select the table again as business application, then we should not see anything. CMDB underscore CI underscore app, and then refresh it. 0 records, which proves that all the records got updated in the previous iteration. So that's about this video. So let's continue the next topics in the next video. Thank you.